We're coming into San Juan, Puerto Rico, about 8 o'clock in the morning. There's a fort down there on the top. There's some old walls. See, there's plenty of room here for lots of cruise ships, but not today in the off season. There's a fort. The old and the new. This is the first real rain we've had in a week on this trip.
$15 in the PM, so buenas tardes. It's a short tour that covers what we call as a historical island of Old San Juan. But before that happens, we like to drive people also to the new San Juan area. In my case, I like to do that part first because you get the feeling between the new and the old San Juan, right? We're gonna make a volcano descend an island that had been here over 150 million years ago, followed two volcanoes made erosion, then the combination between the lava, salty water, winds, rain, all that great combination helps create this beautiful island. The ocean level goes down and boom, we get the island of Puerto Rico here. Follow the island showed up in the Caribbean, we had the Europe from three main cultures. The first one was a Taino native. That was the type of native that came from the south side of Venezuela with the nickname Arroacos. This culture traveled down to Puerto Rico after a few different ones that didn't live here for too long, except them. They lived here for more than 100 years. So they right here to the island by the South Coast, they get a logo, and they were the one that decided to call this island San Juan Bautista. So San Juan, but then eventually, in 1501, we had the arrival from the very first governor in the history with the name Juan Ponce de Leon, the guy who actually found the benefit to move from the mainland to this little island that we're getting off today, we're going out today, we better known as San Juan. He find out that it's better for them to move up to this island to protect the security of this little island instead than the mainland of Puerto Rico was so big for them. Second, with the fortress and the walls, it will be perfect to control the riches right next to the coast and not far away from the coast. And the final reason, it will be triple perfect to protect the main entrance to Las Americas. It's not a really big one. It's 110 long by 35 across. We have a population of 2.2 million Puerto Ricans and 78 municipal towns, including Vieques and Culebra. Also, we have 78 towns on the same one. Okay. Follow that, the weather in the island is pretty much the same weather all year round. Goes between 72 to 86. And the summer gets San Juan area. That's the way we got all this country. So from here, all that point that we have on the right side is the mainland of Puerto Rico. And these two bridges that we have here are the ones that connect the mainland with the old city, right? They're better known as the Benz Brothers. Benz Brothers was the people who brought the telephone system to the island of Puerto Rico. And before they left in 1930 something, they decided to make these bridges in concrete. So this is the only way they had to come here. The Spaniard from the mainland was swimming or in little boats, or that bridge made of wood. 40% of all the pharmaceutical drugs get back home, like Tylenol, Comtrex, Panadol. And those companies employed over 28% of Puerto Ricans. So you definitely need to have both languages. Mazda and all those companies, they sell a lot of cars in Puerto Rico. Crazy, but it's real. We got more cars than people in Puerto Rico, guys. And then the second companies are like government, employee 18%, agriculture with 9 to 11%, which is the number one product like the coffee. And then the third industry in Puerto Rico is tourism. It worked pretty good until 2002. We had two different names like Condado Beach and Vanderbilt. In 2002, this island goes on a bankrupt. They have to close this hotel and the Normandy Hotel. We're also going to see it. And 12 years later, Vanderbilt Hotel changes came back to Puerto Rico and say, hey, we want that property back. How much you want? The new owner of the Vanderbilt Changes Hotel built like the towers on both sides underneath parking, and they restored everything inside in marble, guys. In the island of Old San Juan, we have about 125,000 people that live there. That's another $20 up there, right? But it belongs to the same town. So San Juan, 5 more towns around, they make the metropolitan area, and there we have about 1.4 million Puerto Ricans. And another one that we have on the backside, guys, they're better known as the San Cristobal Fort and San Antonio Fort. So the walls built by Spaniards, and the first amount was built on top of the island. After that attack that we had in 1625, they decided to extend their construction all the way down until front of us, guys. That's been the fastest war in the history of the United States. So all the walls they used to have here, they were all destroyed, guys. When they opened this hotel back in the 1940s, there used to be a guy that worked at the pool. And he was the creator of that mix. When he retired by 1950, middle 1950s, he take that recipe and give it to his friend. So his friend was hired by Barrachina, which is a big business that we have in Old San Juan, and they were the people who actually pad it. But they're not the creator, and they call themselves the creators of the piña coladas, okay? So don't believe that. But they still have a good piña colada, though. That we celebrate in Puerto Rico. And the baseball field used to be, that place used to be where we had the first professional baseball field in the island of Puerto Rico in the history. Okay, and he's gonna make us exactly a replica from the stadium that we used to have here and the baseball field. Which is pointing out kids, because she believed that the kids were the projection of the future. They are the future of the island. And she said, why do people bring gifts in December? I don't get it. And they were celebrating Christmas. So when she started power, she said, well, we don't make a Christmas party for local kids. So she decided to make a big party for one day, then eventually went in with 2 days, because she didn't know that we had this many kids in Puerto Rico, right? She made a big party in front of this like fort right here. You can see how plain is the area, how big it is, right? And she made a big party, and like that, she can give at least one gift from every single kid that comes to that party. That has the name of St. John the Baptist, the famous priest in the history of the Catholic Church that he visited this island. And they decided to make honor to that gentleman and call it San Juan Bautista. And has 78 windows, as you see. Why do we have that many windows? Because each window represents a town in the island. So that means that we have 78 windows, 78 representatives, 78 mayors, 78 towns, 78 symbols, 78 flags. In Puerto Rico, we need to understand that the island once turned to be in 1898 part United States. We didn't have, we were United States land, but we were not officially Americans. That didn't happen until 1917. In 1917, that's when the United States decided to give us a U.S. citizen at the same with a bunch of benefits. The reason was because years before that, they tried to offer to Puerto Ricans to fight for them around the world, but all Puerto Ricans refused because they said, hey, we're not Americans. We're in a U.S. territory because you came over, but you got to give me a reason to die for you. Give me some pizza, hamburger, something, right? That's right. And they said, well, we're not ready for that. But then in 1914, when things start getting from bad to worse related to the war, they say, hey, we should see what the Puerto Rican on the table, start making some offers, including the U.S. citizen. And that's how do we finish as a full Americans, guys? Okay, and start fighting for United States militia. And this was the guy that finally fight so hard to bring the Commonwealth to the island of Puerto Rico. There's like 3 main Commonwealths in the United States, and we are one of them. So that means that today we're allowed to protect our own laws, our own culture, our own flag, our own language, etc., etc. And also brought the benefit to have the own Olympic team, etc., etc. So the Commonwealth brings some benefit, right? So
after the slaves were freed about
1873.
What we're gonna do, guys, what I'm trying to do, guys, is just drive up a little bit more,
Spaniards and the Americans,
turn around on the big park that we have there to show you the north side first, and then we'll go back and forth.
This
okay, so
small community that stretches quite a ways along the coastline. 1513 cemetery, the oldest in the Western Hemisphere.
Those people who live here has related on that cemetery. They're allowed to reuse in them. Okay. And then the grave bar above the ground, because like that when it rains they don't get floated, and follow that, the level of that cemetery, it's like about 10 feet higher than the ocean. People see it's not even feet.
This is the wall that
one
the
time there was a
locals
governor, she
get
tried
to
to make
take
San
turns
Juan
writing
for
anything
workers.
on it they want.
And